my husband and I are taking a vacation, and I thought I would take you along. I'm not going to quite tell you yet where this country is that we just flew literally into the airport, what, 3-4 hours ago. And the fun thing is that I have a blogging friend that I have never met in person. She's also German and she lives in the same country. And we said, hey, wouldn't it be fun to meet up? And that's what we're going to do right now. And I'm going to take you along. This is her house. I'm going to ring her doorbell and let's see what we find. Stunning view. Ja, Wahnsinn! Hallo! Caro! Wie witzig! Ich finde das total klasse!
Ja, schön, ne?
Yeah. So you live in this really cool spot.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Welcome to New Zealand.
Yeah, so now you know that we are in New Zealand. And so tell us about your blog really quick.
My blog is caroha.com.
So I'll leave a link in the description box where you can find Caro's blog.
Yeah, so aroha means love in Maori, which is
Okay.
The original language in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I share some recipes, my favorite recipes. I'm German, so there are definitely some German recipes and wine tips and yeah, a little bit about where I live and what I do.
Oh, nice. Yeah, awesome. So definitely check out her blog. Again, the link is in the description box. And yeah, thank you so much for having us over and baking us beautiful, delicious muffins.
You're welcome.
And thank you so much. And
Nice to
I hope
finally
that,
meet you in
I know,
person.
this was so much fun. This was so awesome. And I hope we get to do this again.
That would be lovely.
Yeah.
Next time in LA.
Maybe, yeah. We left her house, one beautiful place, and now we're en route to the next beautiful place because there's so many beautiful places here in New Zealand. So now that you know we are in New Zealand, I wanted to take a moment to tell you more about our trip, why we're here. And so yeah, my husband and I, we love, and if you feel like I'm out of breath, yes I am, and I'll tell you in a second why. So my husband and I were here in New Zealand because my brother-in-law works for United, so we fly for free on his perks, which is super nice and for which we're super grateful. And then my husband has an uncle in the North Island of New Zealand that we'd like to visit, him and his wife, and you know, just stay in touch with family. So I'm a little out of breath because I hiked to this beautiful overlook spot here, and it was more of a hike than I thought, and that's why I'm a little bit out of breath. And if you've never been to New Zealand, it is such a fascinating, beautiful country. It's essentially an island country down in the Pacific, and it took us about 13 hours to fly here in June, and it's going to take us probably around 11 hours to fly back. So it always changes with the seasons and the winds. And it is about not quite 1,000 miles from the very north tip, the northern tip, to the southern tip. And while we typically visit the North Island, we have visited the South Island too. The South Island is a little bit more dramatic and stunning with the landscape and the seasons, and the North Island is a little bit more mellow and less varied, but it's just so beautiful. There's so many sheep. I think at some point there were more sheep than residents living here. It's a very sparsely populated country, and I always like to come here and get some wool products because, as you may know, I love wool clothing because it insulates you in the winter and it cools you in the summer, and it needs less washing. So I'm going to be on my trip back down this overlook here one more time. You can see so much in the background there. You can even see the ocean. And this is a bit of almost like an enchanted forest, feeling like you're in Jurassic Park with palm trees and native forest and all sorts of ancient looking trees and shrubs. So I am happy to take you along our trip here.
And I'm on my way back down the hill.
What I love about this place is that there is a private walk to the beach. So here's a little walkway and there's the house, and I am going to take you down to the beach, which is one of my favorite activities and walks here.
This is the steep hike down the hill, and as you can see there's already bay in the background. I'm going to take you all the way down, no worries, but we got to go quite a bit here, meandering, zigzagging down this steep hill.
As we get closer down the beach, I always like to do this little detour here because there is a old, dilapidated, defunct greenhouse, and I find that really fascinating for some reason, to think about how somebody, and I don't even know who, was growing something here some years ago, probably decades ago, and you can even see the water pipes up there. So it's definitely a functional greenhouse. So anyways, onward down to the beach. Isn't this quite something? All the way down to the private beach, this little cove. Because it's so windy right now and so stormy, the waves are just crashing. I'll show you on the corner. This afternoon light is pretty spectacular. There's a little gate. I gotta navigate that with the camera in hand. Right now we're in this cute little town called Paia, and we're gonna get ferry tickets to go over to this island over here that's called Russell. I've been there before, but it's really cute and I'm super excited to take you along.
And here we are on the ferry, just left the dock on a quick trip over to Russell. We just stepped off the boat, and this is what we're seeing here in Russell. This is such a cute old town, and I'm going to show you a little bit more of its history. So this is our next stop, the historic Russell Museum, where we're learning a little bit more about the history of Russell, which is actually really interesting and fascinating. New Zealand was the last place on Earth to be settled by humans. Here's a painting of a traditional Maori, I would say, warrior, and their face tattoos are pretty much still alive today. And what I like about New Zealand is that, in my view of most of the world, they actually strike a pretty good balance between their native inhabitants and modern day settlers. You see a model of the Endeavour, which was James Cook's ship, who also came here in 17 something. I'd have to look it up and I can let you know, but I find the history always really fascinating. And behind me is the oldest church in New Zealand. When Charles Darwin came here, he also donated to it. I don't know, for some reason I really like cemeteries, because I feel like there's history and thinking about these people who lived before us. And also, this is an active church. There is a worship every Sunday. It's such a nice, cool building, and I just absolutely love historic buildings like this. And here's an overview of the town as you're just getting off the dock. And yes, this is, my husband flew his drone. He brought it over and he flew it so that you guys could see a little aerial view of Russell. After a bit of walking around town, we just sat down in the Duke of Marlborough, the oldest licensed bar and I guess restaurant, 1837. And it's a beautiful place because you're sitting right on the waterfront here. And I just got a cup of decaf coffee. Decaf because my husband doesn't sleep well if he drinks regular coffee at night. So I don't want to disrupt my sleep, and I got us a cup of decaf. After a cup of coffee in the afternoon, it's always so nice to take a walk along the beach here. And it looks a lot more gloomy than it really was. I mean, it was windy, as you could hear, but it wasn't cold. It was pleasant. It was nice. Here you can see the waterfront again with the dock and an aerial view of town. And that was our day here in Russell as we headed back to the ferry and just pushed off the dock, and we're making our way back to Paia to drive home. One day we actually did have quite a bit of a storm. The rain was just pounding against the window and some of the wind was whistling around the corners of the house. As you can see, not long after, the weather totally cleared up. And it's always so stunning to be here with amazing sunrises and sunsets.
So we're poking around town, but it's been raining, and we're gonna check out a restaurant and see if we can warm up a little bit, get a little bit dry, and see what's here to eat.
And here's my yummy corn fritters with hollandaise. Because we're on vacation, we're going to indulge, and we're trying to find a good dessert that we might like from this big selection here of such yummy things. This was a short trip. We're on our way back to the airport. As you can see, my husband's driving on the right and I'm sitting on the left. And here you can see the iconic Tower of Auckland as we are just about to end our trip here. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.